Well, here we are. The very last series for the semifinals for CPL Season 8. A little bit of fanfare going. Oh, did the music just abruptly stop? I think it should still be going. It's a fanfare that I've chosen for our last match today. We're going to be covering Tier 0, the best of the best between two furious and gloriously overpowered sexy unicorns. Week 12 semis. You guys, it's time for some fun. I bet you're all itching to get into the finals where we'll be casting that, but before that, we gotta go over this. Alright, let's take a look at today's matchup and see who's on the board. For our first game today, in the first series, it will be Protoss player DoodleDoodle versus Zerg player Return from the Ash clan, playing as Zerg. Second series, Terran player myfleetingdream versus {.Stanel from iRk clan as Protoss. Third series, Moonrai from the Nam clan playing as Protoss versus advil, a Terran player. Pandor, who will be playing Terran in the fourth series versus iRk's {Supperman, who's playing Protoss. And then last but not least, So, our Terran player, versus Baal from the Ash clan, who's playing Protoss. And now, some StarCraft. Boot up the game, load into the replays. We are ready to begin. Axe the fanfare. Get that out of here. Let's start with some games. First series, DoodleDoodle versus ash.Return. Have a look. Oh, did you see 3 replays? Oh, that doesn't mean anything. I am sorry about that. You can't see if it's 2 games or 3 games because the system is smart enough to put 3 replays in there, so no. You didn't just outsmart me. Haha. I think the game audio might be a bit low. Well, let me crank it up a little bit. I could also do it through here as well. Oh, music. You guys want music? Yeah, you want music? No, that's good. Oh, and I'm in single player, which is probably not where we want to be because the minimap lags a little bit, but I'll switch over to multiplayer for the next few games. Let's get into our first game in the first series for Tier 0 today, starting on Polypoid between ash.Return and DoodleDoodle, spawning in the lower right corner as the green Zerg. It's Return from the Ash clan. And spawning in the upper left corner is the tan, I suppose? Peach, tan, something like that, Protoss. It's Doodle squared. So, just based off going on what I know about these two players, Doodle apparently is a monster this season. Nearly indomitable. Don't remember what the record was on the CPL ladder, but I think it was like 8-0 or something crazy like that. And then Return, of course, a long-standing and talented Zerg player. I've had the pleasure of learning much from Return, playing with him. Very strong Tier 0 player. Looking forward to see the match between these two. DoodleDoodle opening up with a Gateway Expand. ash.Return opting for Hatchery first. Doodle sending out that scout. Gonna find Zerg next. Gateway finishes, immediate Zealot, no delays. This is Tier 0 for you. Everything's going to be nice and crisp. Okay, this probe will come here, see this Overlord. Wonderfully done by Return. Managed to fake out the probe that Doodle saw the direction, the trajectory of the Overlord, and thought that it must have came from bottom left based on where it was at this point in the game. So Doodle's taking a shortcut and expecting to find Return down here. But little does he know, he's been shoosted. He has been Speckeldorfed. Return pulling one over and gaining a small little advantage first on here in the game, getting that last scout versus Protoss while the pool pops. And immediately we can see in the production tab 4 pairs of Zerglings being created. So a little bit of a committed play from Return here. Even more Zerglings, now 5 pairs. Pro's going to come in here and see all the Zerglings hatching. This will send many red flags to the Protoss base. Upon seeing how many Zerglings there are, Doodle returns with the Zealots. You don't want too few Zealots out on the map early against this many Zerglings. You'll just get surrounded and picked off. So going to fall back into a defensive posture here, probably put the Forge down and wall this off. Nexus a little more than halfway done. Here's that Forge, and the Zerglings are arriving just in time. Return going to put some fantastic pressure on Protoss here. Couple Lings dedicated to attacking the gateway, the rest microing around the Zealots. So we see some pretty decent harassment from Return, but this looks like it should be clean-upable, if that's even a phrase. One Zergling gets into the main, that's rather inconsequential. Doodle gonna go ahead and throw up a cannon in the main mineral line though, just in case. More Zerglings on the way here for Return. Yeah, and a pretty good cleanup job from Doodle. Ooh, almost gets that probe. Be nice if these 2 Lings could just... oh, snipe that. Fortunately, they're probably not going to get it with the cannon there. Let's take stock of where Zerg's at right now. We have even more Zerglings coming, so Return 100% committed to this attack. Third hatchery at the mineral only has popped, and we just see a transition into drones now. So lots of Zerglings. 2 hatch Zergling play. Oh, that's cute. Return found an angle in which he can't be hit by the cannon and can still gain some sort of value. This Zealot will clean this up, no problem though. Good try. So, we have an enormous swarm of Zerglings out here. It looks like 14, because there's 2 here that aren't in this group. 15, 16. Nice little concave. Gonna send 1 Ling in just to peek and see what Doodle has. Sees the cannon, 2 Zealots, and a spinning Forge. We still do not have gas yet for Zerg. Macroing up and getting those hatcheries down. Right, and then Doodle's going to walk out with a couple Zealots, find all the Zerglings in a concave, back out, realize it's a little bit of a contain, and that should trigger Doodle to play a little bit more on the tech and power up side. Here we see the Stargate going up, Gateway so powering up right here. Finally, gas being taken for a turn. That pops. 3 in immediately. Gas at the Nat also being taken at the same time. 26 drones to 34 probes. +1 ground weapons for Protoss, about halfway done. First Corsair on the way. We'll look to see if the core will spin for +1 air weapons, and if there will be additional Corsair production, or if we'll just stop at 1 and use it to scout. Zealot speed on the way, about 20%. And unfortunately a little bit overzealous for this Overlord, just wants to get in there and see it all, but stop dead in its tracks. Another hatchery, Hydra-Tech, layer, everything looking pretty normal. And now we need some Hydras to pop out. Fortunately, we have some in production for return. And Doodle's just going to use this Corsair to gain some information. See, he gets a full scout off on Zerg, all the tech. And then a small Zealot push out, going to clean up the majority of these Lings here and force a fallback on Zerg. This contain has been busted. Doodle is now free on the map. Here we see the +1 air weapons and additional Corsairs, so Doodle will be committing to this tech. Speed has kicked in, +1 ground weapons kicked in. And Doodle's going to try and make something of it. Okay, I like this. This is very, very conservative. Doodle's looking for a good engage, looking for a safe way, the safest way to do as much damage as possible, not overcommitting with the Zealots. You see a lot of micro, moving around and repositioning, getting a lot of units. Good trades here. Getting some of the drones as well. It's very nice. And we still have 7 Zealots on the field. 6. And Doodle's just going to commit the rest of these Zealots here since they're pretty much unsavable. Gets one in. Would scout anything else that was put down here. Nothing further, so just going to pick off some drones. And return doing a little bit of scrambling, trying to save the drones, micro up, and still do everything else all at the same time. More Corsairs, +2 ground weapon, +1 air weapons, almost done. 4 Corsairs. Storm done. Dark Templars on the field. Lots of Zealots in production. Zealot Dark Templar, very cool. This small task force from Protoss is going to move out onto the map. It will be intercepted by the Hydralisks though. Return's got a lot more muscle here, so these Zealots have to do back out, but the Dark Templars, well, there's a lot more options. As we can see, there are no Overlords anywhere in the vicinity, so Doodle is free to play with these Templars as he wishes. Zealots on the map, finding a couple of good trades. Ah, and there is no detection here. And the drone slaughter begins. I like this. This move from the Zealots, this is smart. This draws Return's attention here. We've already killed all the drones. And now, Doodle's trying to get in and do as much damage to these drones as possible in the Nat. Already very successful. Taken out many, many drones. Definitely a kidney shaking to Return right now. Here we see Overlord speed being researched. Drone rounds for Zerg right now. And Return just trying to stabilize. A healthy force of Hydralisks here. With Overlord speed, we'll be able to defend against Dark Templars much more easily. And a reinforcement and secondary attack from Doodle commences. And these Zealots come in a little bit too early. And there are quite a number of Hydras here with +1. But we have +1/+1 all ready for Protoss, and +2 weapons is about to finish. Very close. High Templars are being fielded along with more Zealots. We see a shuttle out. I really like that. That's cool. Corsairs doing a good job of harassing. That's a large mass of Zealots here. And even more Zealots and High Templars with Storm. This is a very scary force. +2 ground weapons, +1 armor. And Doodle moves in. Oh, fantastic Storm. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. GG. The two storms that won it all. That was just... There you go, folks. That's game number 1. Wow. Fantastic. Here's our score screen. Look at the APM on these players. Absolute machines. First point on the board. Alright, let's load up replay number 2. Tier 0, DoodleDoodle ash.Return, game number 2. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to switch over to multiplayer. I'll do it next time. Alright, game number 2. On Neo-Sylphid. Spawning in the top center is the teal Protoss, it's DoodleDoodle. And in the lower left, as the black Zerg, it's ash.Return. So this time, this game, I think we'll probably see macro out of Return instead of the crazy early Ling play, which was super cool to see, but relatively ineffective against a player as experienced as Doodle. Here's our first pylon from Protoss. I've never seen a position like this, so very cool. Can't wait to see what's going to go around here. Return's Overlord, unfortunately picking the wrong spot to scout. Overpool opening from Return. Very safe, very standard. Gateway from Doodle here. It's the right spot given the natural locations. Alright, Nightcat, alright. Yeah, you're right, but it's not where Doodle is, so it's the wrong direction. That's what I meant. So, we will see the scout here, and it just barely misses the Overlord. I said the wrong spot. Oh yeah, you did. Alright. Alright, 1 pair of Lings here for Return. Very standard. We want to chase the probe. Nope, we're doing it again. More Lings. So Return going to stick to the early Zergling pressure. We do have 2 gate here from Doodle. Ling's going to bypass the probe. And the reason for that... Oh, we're going to chase this probe down? Alright, yeah. But there's a lot more Lings. Well, the reason we skipped the probe and ran these passes because we want to get to Doodle's base as fast as possible with early Zerglings like this and try to get as much damage done. But with 3 Zealots and a probe here... It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. I'm going to take a 3rd base here at the pseudo high ground. Okay, we're keeping the Lings at home. ash.Return sees that it's a 2-gate play and recognizes that, okay, not going to be able to get anything done, so might as well just keep the Lings at home. That's funny, these 2 Lings being so annoying. More Zerglings in production here. Gas being taken. Yes, another Zergling game from Return. Some initial Zealots out to put some pressure on the map. Wow, that's a lot. That's 2 gate for you. Let's see what we got here. 3, 7. No more in production. Getting that cyber core behind this. And we're gonna have to be careful here. These Zerglings getting a really nice engage here. Full surround. The additional Zealots come in to reinforce though, and that's gonna turn the tides a little bit. Yeah, and the Zealots should be able to clean this up, but there are more Zerglings running past. This is crazy. This is already super crazy. I love it. So Return going to try to get some backstab damage done, and there's nothing in this main really besides these 2 Zealots that are here, so we should be able to get a couple probe picks. And it looks like the Zealots that were headed towards the natural for Return have been cleaned up, which puts Doodle in a little bit of a precarious position here, having a lot of Zerglings in the main to deal with. 8 in total, gets a good surround on this one Zealot, picks that off, picks the other one off, 1 left. And Doodle GG's under the pressure of the Zerglings. That brings us to game 3. Fantastic. That's about as close as it gets. Wow. Impressive. This will put a point on the board for Return. And now I'm going to back out a single player because I remembered this time. There we go. Yeah, host your replays on local area network whenever you stream, and the mini-map will flow much more smoothly. Here we go. I'll bring you guys in. Game 3 on Butter. Here we are, game number 3 between DoodleDoodle and ash.Return on Butter. Spawning on the top right is the light blue Protoss. It's DoodleDoodle. And as the, I think this is olive colored Zerg, it's ash.Return. Okay, so Butter. Are we going to see game 3 of Zerglings? Maybe another 2-gate opening from Doodle? Now see, I have mixed feelings about this map. I just haven't played it enough yet to know if I like it. I guess it's good, though. People seem to like it a lot, and we voted it into CPL, so obviously it has some popularity to it. You know, I kind of like this light blue color on Protoss. It's kind of nice. I think the actual blue is better, though. Olive's not half bad on Zerg, actually. I prefer the more solid colors, such as red and blue and green. Okay, so this is interesting. We have an extractor trick pool coming out of Return. Doodle's going to come in and scout the pool timing. Notice that is a faster pool, and if Doodle is hyper adept at ZVP, or PVZ actually, should be able to take a look at this and know that that's not actually the overpool timing. Here's the Overlord. This was a 9 pool. Pool pops. 3 larvae at his disposal. Oh, okay. We're gonna go 1 pair and 2 drones. This might be some sort of mind game, like a fake out. But if the probe stays alive and sees it, it's gonna see the drones hatching. There it is. Use your tip of the day for Terrans and Protosses when you're fighting Zerg. When you're in their base or you have vision in their base, watch their larvae and their eggs. That's literally where all the production comes from. so you can actually watch and see what units they make, and from where. Okay, so a relatively conservative opening from Doodle. Just going to get the Forge, Cannon, Gateway for a what looks like a full block, with the exception of a small column here that Zerglings and Zealots can probably fit between. Nat Nexus up, on the way. Main Gas up, on the way. Scouting Probe still alive. Now, as a Protoss player, any Protoss players, you fight Zerg, keep this puppy alive for as long as possible. You see the good job that Doodle's doing keeping this alive? The more you can scout Zerg, the less you get caught off guard, the less chance of a Hydra bust. So we see Return taking this gas third up here on the high ground to form a sort of triangle of bases here. This is pretty common for Zerg on Butter. Scouting Probe for Doodle still alive. 3 minutes 45. Nat Nexus up. Nice healthy transfer of probes. Cyber Core coming. Everything looking very standard right now for Zerg versus Protoss. Doodle's Scouting Probe still alive. Keep this alive for as long as possible. Gets that layer timing, and Doodle probably sees it as well. Overlord from Return comes into the main base, gets a scout on the Stargate. +1 ground weapons for Protoss started. Nat Gas being taken. And a continuation of a normal development. Return starting to produce some more Zerglings. Getting Zergling speed. Layer about to finish. Hydra Den on the way we see. Doodle's Scouting Probe still alive. Gonna get a nice count on these Zerglings here. Nice little head count. It's actually crazy the amount of scouting information this single probe has gathered this game. And even now, gonna get a full scout on the main, not see any additional tech. So, the Scouting Probe goes down, but it's relatively inconsequential because the first Corsair is already out. So, Doodle's gonna flush out this Overlord, probably send this across the map to continue scouting. We see the Citadel already done. Another cannon up on the way at the Natural Choke. +1 weapons, Protoss halfway done. And we see Return doing a pretty good job of saturating his bases, and is now undergoing Hydra production. Here's that Corsair, gonna get a nice full scout off again. Comes in, scouts, finds no Spire. This is just Hydralisk play. Here's that Den. Everything normal, nothing new. So Doodle knows exactly what's up. Templar Archives on the way, about halfway done. No additional Corsairs this game. And therefore no +1 at the Cyber Core. A small detachment of Zealots is going to move out. Trajectory, Zerg's third base, but Return already has units in a pretty decent position to deal with this and answer it. Now, gonna lose one drone here. And with the Zerg being so close by, this should get cleaned up no problem. Doodle escaping with just one zealot. Drones being sent back. Single Corsair harassment. We can see Overlord speed done. And with the number of Hydras that was fielded, Doodle feels that cannons are going to be necessary. And indeed, they are. You see a large number of Hydralisks, as well as Speed Overlords, 6 of them in its entirety. Did I miss a drop research? Because that's kind of what this looks like. Five Zealots out on the map. Gonna have to come back home and help to defend this. This is a lot of Hydralisks. Okay, and with the Zealots coming back home, this should get cleaned up. No problem. Back at home. Armor upgrade. Storm done. More gateways. And a very strong speed lot presence on the map. Very consistent presence as well. And with the sunken colonies here, that'll push that back. Doodle going to check for a potential fourth. Not find anything. Return fielding a lot more Hydras. No upgrades on them just yet. And a full retreat with these Zealots. I like this move out though. These came all the way down here and got some scouting information. And then they're coming back. Like, not a single unit was really lost. And still being really hyper efficient and super active on the map with just these 5 Zealots. Now, we do have a problem that needs answering. And that's, this is a lot of Hydralisks. How do we stay alive? Well, Storm's done. And we have Templars, so Doodle should be in the clear. This forge will likely get picked off. This should be cancelled. Unfortunately, Doodle gonna lose that upgrade. And just so active with these Zealots on the map. It's so cool to see. And it's actually prompting Return to fall back with the majority of his forces. Oh, we had some rally drones here, that's unfortunate. These Zealots have traded really, really well, up until this point where they're probably going to get picked off. Lots of scouting done with them, and some really good trades against Hydras, with just 5 of them, hyper efficient. Lurker aspect being researched. And yeah, looks like one Zealot will probably get away with 1 HP. And 1. Why cancel the upgrade? You get the resources back when the building dies. Really? It was my understanding that you lost the resources if the building dies while it's still researching. Maybe someone else can help out with that in the chat. And then maybe we can all learn something today. I was pretty sure that if a building is researching something and it dies, you just lose the money. You also get resources back for any queued units when a building dies. I don't believe you, Nightcat. Really? I thought you just lost everything. Yeah, you get the money back. You would normally cancel the upgrade so you can queue it up in another forge right away. Also, yes, you get those back too. Well, today I learned. See, now I thought you just lost everything, so maybe somebody else learned that today too. So you get a refund if the building dies while it's producing something. Very good to know. Just building cancels, you lose money. Right, and I think that's, you get like 75% of the value back or something. Okay. Doodle in a fantastic position. Very big, strong army. Lots of storms available. Gonna take this opportunity, secure third base, hold the center of the map. Just wow, macro machine. Fair number of gateways, we have 7 here. 8 if you count the one at the front. In return, sitting back in a more defensive posture. Good lurker spread. This should make a Protoss attack a lot more difficult, but Doodle just has a lot of muscle right now. We can see 1-1 upgrades on Protoss. A high ground advantage, plenty of storm available. Some decent engagement here. Some lurkers going to burrow in a pretty good spot, but unsupported by the Zerglings and Hydralisks here. A fantastic storm's going to melt every Hydra once again. Doodle the Storm God. Like, every storm that I have seen today from Doodle so far has just been so orgasmic. And yeah, with this push here, there's too much Protoss muscle here. Return's not going to be able to save the rest of his main and natural from this. We should be seeing a GG come out here pretty soon. Oh my goodness. Oh, the storms are so juicy. Yeah, there's too much power here. I think Protoss has taken this game for sure. Reinforcing wave coming up down the middle of the map. Zerg natural completely shattered wide open. Yeah, GG well played from Return. DoodleDoodle takes the series 2-1. He's pretty good, folks. He's pretty good. Pretty good at this game. Wow. Well, that was just a pleasure to watch. But that's the end of our first match, our first series in this match. We'll be moving on to the second series. It's going to be between myfleetingdream versus iRk-stanel, Terran versus Protoss. And let's start the series up. Beginning series number 2. Our first game on Polypoid between myfleetingdream and stanel. Spawning in the top right corner as the navy blue Terran, it is Fleeting 2-Fact-2 Furious, aka myfleetingdream. Spawning in the lower right corner is the pink Protoss. It's iRk Clan's stanel. Now, I've gotten an opportunity to play stanel a couple of times. Of course, I'm a Zerg player now, again, so it was a lot of ZVPs. He's quite strong. myfleetingdream, a little bit more of a mystery for me. Haven't quite seen enough of this player to really know. Looking forward to the CPL action here. Tier 0 is great. This is like the pinnacle of our play where we should be and what we should be striving for. So to end the semifinals with Tier 0 I think is a nice sweet note. Here we go. Standard gateway and main for stanel. And what looks like a standard box formation here for Terran. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, that's just kind of what I call it, but the box formation's like this weird You make like a box, a micro box out of a depot here, a depot here, a gap here, and the barracks here, and it creates a wonderful playground for Marines to micro around Zealots. So I'm sure that's what we'll be seeing here. Gas being taken in a very normal time. Same for Stanel as well. For a cyber core opening, anyway, that is, which this is. Scout for fleeting, gonna come out. Scouting in the correct direction, we'll find Stanel first. We'll scout the core opening. Here's our playground. And we should see a factory now. Okay, Cyber Core finishes up. Will we see an immediate range? We have a goon in production. The answer is yes. Alright, so early range goon play. Fleeting gonna tuck this SCV up here, scout around a little bit more, keep it moving. And very interesting probe movement from Stanel here. Okay, so there was no indication that the SCV came from the top, so the scout decided to go bottom left first, so if this is a typical counterclockwise scout, it'll be last. So super fortunate scouting for Fleeting, and a little bit unfortunate for Stanel. But it looks like he's doing an end scout, actually. Brilliant move. We'll find Terran now. Okay, healthy number of Marines here, 4. Not super committed to anything. Oh, actually producing extra. Yeah, once we get past like 4, once we get past like a bunker's worth, it starts to become a little bit more aggro in my opinion. Maybe I could be wrong, but this looks like a more aggressive option out of Terran. That looks more like a Z than an N to me. Alright, you know what, Nightcat, you can see yourself out. I've had enough of your shenanigans today. Spider mines being researched here. First unit out of the factory will be a siege tank, followed quickly by a vulture. And we have 7 Marines in total. So this will be an aggressive push coming from Terran. Bringing 1 SCV as well. Bunkers and repairs, very nice. 2 Dragoons placed up on the high ground here for Stanel. I like this position a lot. It's very good, very defensive. Forward enough to see the push coming. And we should be able to get a couple free shots off on the Marines and then back out. Oh, we do have to be a little bit careful though. These goons are starting to take a little bit more damage than what we're comfortable with. 1 goon goes down. Picking off the tank, very good job, but 2 goons are sacrificed for it. And with the mines here now, oh, that's super duper close. This Dragoon cannot move. Or that happens. Alright, but not too bad. Only losing 1 probe with the AoE of the mine, but with all the Terran that's here, bunker going up, the mines in place, second vulture, this looks like it's critical damage. Now, we haven't lost all the probes yet from the natural, but losing a couple here. And also going to force a stop on all the mining in the natural here. Super painful. Losing another goon to the mine there. I don't think there's a way out of this game now. I think Fleeting just takes game number 1 from here. Because I don't think there's a way for Protoss to stop this Nexus from going down. Well, I say that, but there's no reinforcements on the way. There's 1 tank coming, I guess. Oh, the mine connections are so good, though. Yeah, an SCV repairing the bunker. Nice, gets the pick on the probe. Hull damage taken when the second goon comes down. Stanel will probably take another swing at it. Picks off the SCV, brilliant, that's what we need. Alright, so with the tank here should absolutely help to secure the kill on the Nexus. And oh my goodness, every probe made out of this Nexus has been sniped by the bunker. Down goes the Nexus. This game is now comfortably in Fleeting's hands. Wow, I can't believe I just watched that. That tank got sniped by a single swing from those Zealots. That's crazy. Very cool move coming out of {Stanel. And here we see 2 Gateway Observer transition, a very, very safe build. First Observer going out, seeing a couple of units being rallied for Terran. Fleeting with a nice secured natural, healthy SCV count. Got some additional factories up. And yeah, every single Protoss unit that comes out of these gateways here is super vital. Super duper vital for stopping this contain. In fact, Fleeting looks like he might want to push up the ramp. Okay, without the Vulture, maybe not. With this one, maybe. Does lose one of the tanks there. {Stanel doing a good job of picking off the tanks. Oof, one more volley. And now with siege mode being done, that's going to turn things on its head a little bit again, because {Stanel's starting to stabilize, going into that Reaver tech, trying to get units down this ramp. Would be able to clean all this up without siege, but with siege, it's going to be so much more difficult. Fleeting doing an excellent job reinforcing this contain. More coming out. The Marine play was nice. We stuck a Marine right here so that we could get vision of the high ground here so that the siege tanks could fire at the goons. Very smart. Gonna inch forward, send these up the ramp, shell the goons from the low ground, plant more mines. This is awesome. This looks really strong from Fleeting. This should secure the game. These mine connections right here are just, it's too much. All Fleeting has to do is just wait for the reinforcements, pack up, move up the ramp, good game. We just keep reinforcing. And there's the good game from {Stanel. My Fleeting Dream takes game number 1 in the second series. Very cool. That brings us into game number 2. Starting game number 2 between My Fleeting Dream and {Stanel. We have spawning in the top center as the red Protoss, iRk clan {Stanel. And in the lower left is the orange Terran. We have My Fleeting Dream, aka Fleeting from 2 Fact 2 Furious. So we're on Neo-Sylphid now, which, as most people should know, or as everyone should know, is flat ground. There's no transition from the main to the natural. There's no ramp. This makes aggressive openings and options a lot more realistic. So I'm curious to see if Fleeting decides to go for another early aggressive option. If we play a little more standard, a little more macro-oriented. Nothing cheeky coming out so far, nothing heading towards the center of the map. Red's an awesome color on Protoss. I think it meshes very well with the gold. It looks very menacing. Yeah, orange is fantastic on Terran too. Let's talk a little bit about this wall formation that Fleeting's doing. When you spawn with minerals on the left side as Terran, you can make another sort of playground to micro your Marines around Zealots by placing the barracks directly to the right of the command center and the supply depot directly to the right of the barracks. Of course, you start with the supply depot, so you build this far out here first, and then you fill the gap with the barracks. And then you have two micro holes where your Marines can fit through that Zealots cannot. So, newbie Terran players, take notes. Here we see stanel going to scout. Bottom right, not find. Fleeting. Fleeting gonna scout top center and find stanel. Okay, interesting. A second pylon before core. So, a zealot-oriented opening from stanel. So we see that first zealot going out. Gonna go ahead and try to get some harassment done. Factory at a pretty standard timing. Interesting note here. 2 SCVs on gas. That's not 3. Fleeting gonna go ahead and get the scout off. Probably saw the core, saw that it's a little bit late. Yeah, knows that Zealot's coming. Packs up, tight wall, tight choke right here. SCV wall. And now the Zealot can't really accomplish anything because of this. Alright, so we have machine shot first before Vulture. Additional Marines in production. And a 2-gate ranged play from stanel coming out. And we'll be keeping our eyes on this and watching it with great interest. Spider mines being researched. Siege tank first. Pretty normal. More Marine production. And again, with this Marine count climbing, we might see another aggressive option come out for myfleetingdream. Two Zealots and a Dragoon. Nothing to scoff at. Gonna go ahead and engage the Terran that moved out of the choke. We'll get a pretty nice engage. Loses the Goon. Okay, honestly not too bad for Protoss. We got all the Marines, so any potential push is now dead, because Terran just doesn't have the damage. Not without the Marines. So, that'll cue Fleeting to instead secure his natural. Gonna pressure on the map a little bit, pick off that Zealot, don't want that getting home for free. Gonna run into these two goons here, and a little surprised to find Fleeting taking the fight. Okay with the mines though. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. And Fleeting still pushing onward. And if these two goons can catch up to this tank, they can pick it off no problem. Here we see a transition to robotics for stanel. Perhaps another 2-gateway observatory. A very safe build for Protoss. Additional factories coming down for Fleeting. Vulture's going to get in a little bit and get confirmation that there's no natural yet for Protoss. Here's that observatory, so it will be 2-gateway observer. And Fleeting probably just going to power up, macro up, start producing off of multiple factories. We'll see the tech choice and the research that follows. Good healthy number of goons fielded for stanel, but we have delayed the natural quite a bit. This may be cause for concern. The longer Terran stays up with the natural operating, and Protoss without one, the more of an advantage Fleeting gets into. A money advantage, a macroeconomic advantage. Some additional observers coming out, some zealots in production, just on 2 gateways for now. Still no natural. Fleeting starting to power up. 3 factories getting the research. Turrets very defensive, very safe. Probably realizes that there might be a lead here, since there's no, finally here's the natural nexus. When you recognize there's a lead, you can just kind of bunker up a little bit. Not literally, not actually building bunkers, but like making a fortress with your siege tanks, your missile turrets, nice safe and cozy, power up, get your upgrades. And put the onus on Protoss to be the one to do the attacking. And attacking into a minefield with tanks behind it is a very, very difficult thing to do. Okay, stanel posturing for a mineral-only third base here. I think I missed a vulture getting in here. I heard it. And these probes look like they've shuffled around. Okay, so let's see from Stanel's eyes. We don't want to lose the observer. That was close. Without siege mode, this push actually has a little bit of merit. Now, the shuttle comes in, drops off some zealots, but there's no siege, so there's not really splash to take advantage of. Wow, the mine connection. And Stanel, now with the micromanagement, trying to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Picks off the mines as they're being laid down, but we'll lose these goons here, but not before doing a generous amount of damage to Terran. Citadel on the way. 4 gateways in total. Here's the completed natural and the probe transfer. 9.5 minutes in. And that's a fantastic mine connection here. And Fleeting still pressing on very aggressively. This might be troublesome. If there were reinforcements that were coming right now, this game would be lost for Protoss, but with 2 tanks here and a vulture, alright, we don't have any mines left, and this is low. This one comes in and it's fresh. This doesn't look like it has much of an answer. Oh no. Oh no. Another great mine connection there. And fantastic use of the shield battery as well, but it's just not going to be enough. Reinforcements slowly trickling in, and that should be game. There's just too much Terran muscle here. Protoss lacking in the army department. We only have 4 gateways. We can't really pump out too much. Terran getting in with a great push on the natural here. Getting mines down. Getting great connections in the main base. This should prompt a GG very shortly. Mines beautifully placed right outside the gateways, make connections as soon as the units pop out. And a GG from {Stanel. Fantastic game. Fantastic gameplay from Terran. Fantastic. Here's our score screen. APM monsters. And Fleeting takes the series 2-0. Thus ends our second series for today. We jump into the third series. Our third series today will be another Terran versus Protoss. It'll be from Moonrai from the Nam clan versus Advil. Here's our game, and we'll start up the new series right now. Alright, here we are on Polypoid for the first map in week 12. Spawning in the bottom right corner is the Brown Terran. From the iRk clan, it's Advil. And spawning in the top left corner is the Green Protoss. From the Nam clan, it is Moonrai, or just Moon here in this game. So I don't know much about either one of these players, so I can't really tell you what to expect. Moon I've never seen play, so I have no idea. Advil was on my team during Season 6. I know he's a pretty strong Terran player. We're just gonna have to sit and find out. Okay, pylon on main. Supply depot. Everything looking pretty normal so far. No center gates, no BBS. Is there a color that's bad on Terran? Brown looks pretty tight too. It's difficult to really understand colors because I'm partially colorblind, but I really like colors in StarCraft. I don't think green's that great on Protoss. That's kind of ugly. Scouts here gonna intersect and kiss a little bit. Pass each other by. Normal Rax gas for Terran. Very standard gateway gas core. Protoss gonna come in, get the scout off with the probe. Finds that everything looks pretty normal. And we'll be chased out by the Marine, of course. Advil doing the end scout to check for Nexus first. Finds Moon in neither position, so now knows that it is cross spawn. First Zealot coming in for Moon. Pretty decent stutter step micro. It's a lot harder to do than it looks. And gonna use the micro holes. And the Marine that pops out takes a hit from the Zealot. 2. I tell you, if Advil doesn't lose any Marines here and gets that Zealot pick, that'd be great. Now, the second Zealot arrives, finishes the SCV building the bunker just before it gets a chance to complete, so the low ground here will be secured by Protoss. Gonna send all these Marines in. Oh, gets one picked off that was injured from before. And with the Vulture, we should be able to clean this up. The Goon will make it a little bit more difficult, though. We'll need to see repairs. And the Probe participating, too. This is actually a little bit more hairy than I thought. So we have another Vulture on the way. We have another Marine on the way. 2 queued up. Tucking that Zealot down behind the minerals. Regenerating some shields. Very smart. If we just get this Marine in the bunker. And that should end the harassment, up until range finishes, of course. Some good damage being done. 18 SCVs to 17 probes. This Vulture does manage to get out on the map. Scout comes in, sees Protoss. Range on the way. And a pretty fast robotics. So the idea with this Vulture is when mines finish researching, you can plant some at the would-be locations for Protoss' third and kind of slow them down a little bit. And here we see Advil just trying to stabilize. Gonna go ahead and take that natural CC. Mines now being researched. Tank out to fight potential goons. And Moon's goons are going to fall back. And here we see early Reaver play coming out of Moon. Reaver on the way, shuttle speed on the way. No natural just yet. And already missile turrets for Advil. So, if we have some nicely placed missile turrets, this should be a much less effective harass. Nevertheless, we will actually have to see the execution and how it plays out. There's that Nat Nexus finally going down for Moon. 2 goons placed here. 2 goons placed here. Full coverage. And there goes that shuttle. Oh, and Advil should have caught that. So, wonderfully done with that Vulture. And yeah, we see more turrets going down in response. Will they be up in time, though? I don't know. The shuttle's already here, and if we look, shuttle speed is just about to finish. Okay, stops one turret from finishing, gets a little bit of damage done on the tank. Shuttle speed finishes. And Moon has a little bit of space here to play around. Not a whole lot, though. And has to be very careful. And loses the shuttle just as it picks the Reaver up, so unfortunately, quite a setback for Protoss at this point. Probe transfer, another gateway going down. Now Moon kind of has to climb his way back up a little bit. When you open the Reaver tech and delay the Nat, your macro gets put behind a little bit, so theoretically I can give an advantage to Advil here. So what we'll see now for the rest of this game will be Advil's attempts to translate his lead into a victory, and Moon's attempts to step forward after being pushed back. How can Protoss get back into this game? And how can Terran secure this game after gaining an advantage? Advil doing a pretty good job of laying mines down all around the map. That shuttle flew right over that mine. So if Advil has sharp eyes and a keen sense and watches the mini-map pretty frequently, probably saw that. But now with it here and siege tanks and missile turrets, it's going to be pretty hard to drop. Of course, we know there's nothing in the shuttle, but Advil does not know that. Okay, so Moon just starting to power up a little bit on 2 base. And Advil, taking a safe third here, will probably float this up and over to the mineral-only third here. Adding on an additional factory. Wow, that's actually a really cool spot for a siege tank. I appreciate that. That's really cool. Alright, Moon taking the third at the 12 o'clock position. But with Advil taking the third at the same time, there's not really much of a shift in advantage. It's just both players kind of powered up a little bit. I think I'd still give the advantage at this point to Advil. Alright, so we're powering out of a couple more gateways now. Got 5. We're going to need more. This empty shuttle's going to take a couple extra shots. Anti-vulture wall. Some scans going down for Advil. Checks the mineral-only third, sees nothing. Does see the probe there. Nothing really in the nat, just saturation. Okay, probe transfer from the main, probably to the third. Yes, as this finishes, that's what this is. Want to build a shop here. Gonna take that turret out. There it is. Science facility, alright. This is what we need to really secure the lead. We need to get those extra upgrades past +1. Want to max out as soon as possible. Now, Moon does have a supply lead versus Advil, so we're kind of starting to close the gap between the advantaged and the disadvantaged. Moon now getting that 4th base up here. Zealots loaded up in the shuttle. What looks like maybe 3 control groups worth of Protoss moving out. Moon's going to make the first step out on the map. Scans for Advil. Finds the Templar archives, and it's timing. Is otherwise blind to this attack that is probably coming. And from Moon's perspective, and Advil doing a very nice job. Good tank spread so that they can't be stormed very easily. A couple mines set up. Very defensive posture. This looks like it's very difficult to break. And due to that, I don't think we'll see Moon push in, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the goons remain here and hold this position. Moon wants to take the top right, sends a small detachment of Protoss there to clean that out. Can now place a Nexus there. Advil continuing to macro out. Taking the 6 o'clock as a 4th base. Okay, healthy number of factories, 6. We'll probably want more. +2 on the way. Stargate coming for Moon. So with the Stargate coming and Templar tech already out, and Storm research being researched, I expect this to develop into Arbiters. And we will see some High Templars with the Psionic Storms. Okay, so this pack of goons is probably going to check for this base, right? And in fact, the observer should see it. Yeah, sees it. Okay, going to try to make a move on this base here at the 6 o'clock. Full group of Dragoons. Once these tanks siege up, I think that'll be it. Yep, there we go. And the retreat. Okay, so just some additional powering up here for Terran. Another factory. I'd really like to see both of these armories spinning. There we go. It's researching. It's researching something. I don't know what, but did I just find another bug? That's pretty great. Alright. So top right secured by Protoss. Another main base, so plenty of space to place down additional gateway infrastructure. Very necessary for combat against Terran in the late game. It's like the mystery-flavored gummy bears or airheads. Will it tell me now? Yeah, it tells me. Alright, it's mech attack. And then that's no doubt mech armor. So 2. So that'll be 3-1. Terran working on 3-1. Protoss sitting on +2 attack, +1 armor. +2 armor should kick in pretty shortly. And +3 attack just now started, on the way. Both players pretty much maxed out. And now we get to sit back, relax, and enjoy an endgame PvT. Advil getting some pretty good engages here in the center of the map. So the Terran leapfrogging death push now mounts out on the map. Moon's going to need the production from these gateways to reinforce and perform some sort of flanking from the side. We want a nice engage and an arc as Protoss against Terran. So if Terran holds this territory and stops reinforcements from here, that could become problematic. Now, here we see with the first Arbiter here, Protoss going to push out on the middle of the map, try to retake this territory. Very nice EMP goes off. And a standstill for the time being. The center of the map in contention. And here's those reinforcements coming out of the top right. And Terran just gonna slowly crawl all the way up to this base. Protoss going to contest this push, going to come in from the high ground, so has the high ground advantage with the goons, but this is a lot of siege tanks. But it's just not enough. Enough Protoss muscle comes in, goons are very good against siege tanks. And we clean this up and reset Terran's tank count, giving Protoss a lot of room to breathe here. But as I finish saying that, the attack's not over yet. Advil's still committed to this push here at the top right, gonna send some more units up here to reinforce. But with the reinforcements coming out of the gateways here for Moon, it should be a non-issue. So 2 Stargates on blast for Arbiters. Advil still pushing to take more territory out here, starting to put up some turrets. Great macro coming out. 3-1 upgrades available. Okay, so we're in a position in this particular game as Terran where we really need to stop Protoss from being able to take more bases, particularly this one. It's sort of a rule of thumb that if Protoss secures all 3 mains on a 4-player map like this, they kinda just win. If you get the macro engine up and running for all 3 bases and you macro out of all of them, you kind of just have too much. And you can really abuse Terran's mobility by being able to put units out on the map in several locations at once. So here we see a very strong push coming out of Moon now. Made a lot of units out of this top right, gonna push this Terran force back. And this now grants control of the center of the map to Protoss for the time being. So we have 3 main bases taken and control of the center. Now at this point now I'd kind of say the tables have turned a little bit and Moon holds the advantage. Slow Zealots at 21 minutes. Oh, did I not even notice that Zealot speed kicked in that late? That's pretty crazy if true. To get gas fast. Protoss? It was a standard gate gas core opening. So we see Advil still committing very strong to this attack in the upper right corner. There's enough units up here, shuttles supporting, and if we could have some flanking units on the left, that would be really nice. We could clean this up. Advil going to take the 3 o'clock here, another gas base. If this gets up and secured, that'll put a lot more longevity onto Terran's clock to stay in this game. We see a nice drive-by on these shuttles, going to drop off these Zealots. Basically take this whole base out. Command center floated, disrupted. And a very nice drop right here, taking out a good number of SCVs with the Storm. Advil looking like setting up a very, very successful push to take out this top right corner. If Terran knocks out this base, this natural here, and this base in the top right, it'll definitely keep Terran in the game. I think it'll even things out a lot more. This is turning into a very back and forth, interesting game. Well played by both sides. Okay, Terran now pushing up the ramp here. If Terran gets up the ramp, this base is as good as dead. Scan going down, revealing the location of the bottom left. Yeah, no units in production, not enough turrets, or cannons. Moon's gonna have to give the space up, not even trying to take it back. Probably the best decision, you're not gonna be able to save it. And Advil already starting to remobilize and heading towards what looks like the bottom left. But Moon, a little bit ahead of the idea, starting to send units down to reinforce the bottom left. Here we go, 3-2 on Terran Mech, 3-1-3 on Protoss ground. Very nice upgrades for everyone. Small Terran force going to clean this base up. More scans going down. Just trying to find the location and composition of Protoss. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Hey. Hey, stop that. Hey, misclick. Misclick. Well, at least it's depleted. Alright, cool. Now we have Dark Templars mixed in too, and I like to see this from Protoss. It forces the presence of vessels or scan. And they do really good damage. It's cool to mix them in. I like that idea. Alright, let's take stock of where we're at here. We have Terran. Basically a death ball pushing in here. Oh, look at this. Alright. Alright. Yeah, not great stasis, honestly. Could have been much better. Only capturing 4 siege tanks here. There's still a lot of Terran muscle, but with a really good concave, beautiful from Protoss here, it looks like we'll be able to clean this up. Even if not, the exchange will have been worth it. Okay, yeah, see, Protoss is going to lose basically everything here. Good storm. We reduced the tank count yet again. And when you're in a position like this as Protoss, where you have production here, in your main, and even still in the upper right, which actually was not taken out, you can reinforce and remax pretty quickly. You want to take trades where you sacrifice more of your units to wipe out Terran's key tech, which is the siege tank. So, the siege on the bottom left base for Protoss begins now. This is going to put a little bit of a clock on Moon. He's going to have to do something. Can't afford to lose this base. This one was already sieged to hell. It has like no probes left. Good minefield, doing some good damage here. Finding this 9 o'clock base, mining it up. Advil doing a really good job of staying into this game late and getting a lot of great damage done, staying in, powering out. This could be anyone's game, I think. If this base goes down, I think I'll give it to Advil. So much damage was done to the top right. Now we're losing this right here. Advil immediately going to take it for his own. We have a nice recall here at the 3 o'clock. This is going to put Terran down one more base. Well played from both sides so far. But yeah, I think a conclusion is probably starting to draw near. And it's probably going to come down to a serious army engagement. Okay, yeah. We're going to end this base. Terran's commanding enough units, I think, to be able to kill all this. And with this offline, I think the only real saving grace for Protoss is still having this top right base, but Again, only 4 additional gateways, that's not a lot of production. So I think Advil is in a very, very good spot right now. Here we see another recall. This time in the main base, Arbiter managed to sneak in, but Advil already has a lot of units here, and mines, in position. This was anticipated. And indeed, Advil will clean this up without losing really anything. Okay, so Protoss continuing to push out. We do have a lot of Arbiters that are fielded. These are pretty dangerous and can turn the tide of any battle pretty quickly. Ooh, if we can get a nice EMP off, that'd be great. Loses that vessel there. And bottom left is history. And from here, it looks like the game stabilizes a little bit. It has become top versus bottom. With this base secured, we'll take the gas pretty quick. Yeah, I think there's the strong position that Advil's in. I mean, we're 3-2 on mech. Just about even in supply. Like, Moon needs to make something happen with these Arbiters. Some really good recalls. Alright, a recall here on the back of the tank line. Gonna catch just one tank. I don't know if this was the play. Additional reinforcements gonna come in here. How much energy do we have? 150 on both of these guys. Okay. Pretty decent stasis. Grab 4 tanks. Okay, so Advil needs to find a way to secure this base. We can't lose this now. If we lose this, that might turn the game. More units coming down. If this force meets up with this force, this base will probably fall. Some good mines intercepting here, taking out basically all the zealots. Advil doing a good job placing more mines down to try to slow this push the best he can, but that force meets up with the original one. They coalesce, and Terran finally comes in. Battle will break out. And yeah, Advil has to secure this, has to retake this. We're going to lose this command center. That's going to be very painful. And I can no longer say Advil's really in the lead. I think losing that base, that was pretty critical. We are out of money entirely for Terran. And that's a problem. There are no minerals and nothing to mine. Moon, however, yeah, we have plenty left to mine. Yeah, and Moon already positioning here at the 3 o'clock base, gonna deny this command center entirely. It looks like Advil is basically out of options here. This looks like a Protoss game to me, folks. I know I spent like 30 minutes hyping up Terran here, but it's a Protoss game. We're still mining. That's what matters. We're 33 minutes in, and Protoss is still mining off 3 bases. That's what matters. 333 upgrades too. Holy crap. Okay, so I think what we're seeing here is Advil just packing everything up and balling it up and making one final attempt. And this attempt will be to secure this bottom left again. Fantastic recall comes in here. This critical damage to these siege tanks is just going to put Advil into an even worse spot. You see the GG, once he loses the tanks, really got nothing left. And that's going to end the game. Moon takes it. Fairly close in scores, not bad. Let's put a point on the board for Moon. And that'll bring us into game number 2 on Neo-Sylphid. Here we go. Spawning in the top middle at the 12 o'clock position is the Olive Protoss. It is Nom Clan's Moon with the CPL ID of Moonrai. And spawning in the lower right is the Orange Terran, is iRk Clan's Advil. Can't forget about Butter. And Butter, baby. So, Moon. Now 2 games in with Advil. Into the second game. Just trying to figure out how everything works. I like to jump into the pool before learning how to swim too. Alright, this is cool. I don't know what the plan is here. This might just be a scout check. Let's see if anything is happening up here. Not really sure why. Maybe on a 2-player map that would make sense, but how did you know that he would be spawning down here and to check here? What if he spawned over here? Map hacks! Okay, so Advil is going to make a wall here. Getting the gas at a normal timing. Comes in, sees everything going on. Gate gas, so a cyber core opening. And 3 SCVs into gas. We'll keep an eye on this and see if Advil takes any out of gas. That'll tell us that it might be a factory expansion, or a more aggressive play if he keeps it in the gas. This SCV will come in, find Moon's base, scout that cyber core, and the gas. That's everything we need to know. Probe gonna come in here, scout the factory. Whoa! Gets the last hit on that probe SCV that it was harassing earlier. That's really cool. Well done by Moon. Goon and range on the way. Cool. Yep, these SCVs weren't taken out. So this will be a 2-factory play for Advil. Very aggressive with the intent to kill. Going for the throat. So now we'll see what Moon does. Oh, I'm loving it. I am loving it. 2-fac versus DT. Yes, please, go. Here comes the hero SCV. The one to save the Terran. Mission failed. So, here we have our Templar archives. 4 minutes 40 seconds. And a proxy gateway as well. Very cool. Advil gonna send another SCV out, try to rescout. Gets intercepted by these Dragoons though. Mines and speed on the way. Pretty typical for a 2-fac push. Dark Templar in production out of the proxy gateway. Okay, engineering bay. This is the saving grace right here. Without this, the game would basically be over. We'd have to rely on mines entirely. Out of 1 vulture. Well, 2 by the time it gets done, I suppose. And you don't want to just rely on mines. So, here comes the first Dark Templar. Mines are down in place. Oot, snipe that. Gonna get caught there. Knocks out the DT, but does put down a lot of splash damage on 2 tanks, so gonna have to stall this push. Get those repaired. Turret's going up. Now that Advil knows what's going on. More mines going down. Moon shifting towards a more economic focus, taking the Nat. Going Stargate. Wow, that's really fast. Alright, very cool. Some vultures get out on the map. And the mines actually doing a pretty good job of cleaning the DTs up. Okay, those vultures will put that proxy gateway out of commission. That puts Moon down 1 gateway. Gonna put another one up here. Safe command center. There's those repairs going down. Very necessary. Invisible DT, actually invisible, outside the range of that detection. This gateway without the pylon can just be left as is, really. Want to be more active on the map with the vultures, so I like that. Good wall here from Moon. To stop vultures from running in. Arbiter Tribunal already complete. And we're sub 8 minutes. Advil gonna grab siege mode, pumping out a couple more tanks. Probably just going to try to secure this natural. Very smart. If you're going to position your army in a certain spot, clean up the mines around the tanks. They're too much of a liability. First Arbiter on the way. That's probably 20% done. 8 minutes, 40 seconds. Looking real good here for Protoss, the longer this goes unscouted and unchallenged. Stasis on the way. Ah, that's great. Alright, so DT getting 2 kills here. This turret will flush it out. Yeah, realizes can't really do anything more with that. Walks out with the DT. In a nice spot, though, to check for any move-outs, though. And I like this positioning with all of the army units for Moon. Looked like an anticipation of a drop. And we're finally going to clean this gateway up. No reason to just leave it there after you've scouted the map, combed around, taken control. Protoss going to push out though. Just outside. One nice control group of Protoss here, and the first Arbiter is out. I think the play here is probably to wait for enough energy for a stasis, and then we'll go in for a push. A single stasis this early could actually change the entire outlook of the game. Okay, Moon trying to chase around these vultures. Vultures getting a couple of nice picks on some zealots, getting caught there a little bit. Every single Terran unit's going to be very valuable for the incoming Protoss push. We have 5 tanks here. Another Arbiter on the way. Robotics coming out. Lots of units being pumped out. Speed lots out on the map. Okay, so we're at +1 attack for mech. No upgrades yet for Protoss ground, but we do have +1 weapons about to complete. Third going down here at this mineral only third. And with just 3 factories here, and only 2 of them really producing, I think this push from Protoss is going to be very difficult to deal with. Especially since we have stasis at the ready. Observer Tech going to come out to help deal with those mines. Third Arbiter in production. Here's the second one. There's the first one. And I might have missed a recall research, but based on what we're seeing here, I think we can tell that it was researched. So Moon gonna get in here. Yeah, there it is. Pretty nice recall. Gets a probe in there too. Why not? Alright, getting some SCV kills, that's pretty good. Alright, so we had some damage done here. Not the greatest recall in the world, but didn't commit a lot of units to it. Yeah, we got some SCV kills. We're sitting at 47 probes versus now 36 SCVs, so I think that was probably worth it. It'll be a matter of time before that gets cleaned up in the main base here. Protoss mobilizing out on the map. 4th base at the pseudo-high ground 3rd. And some additional gateways in the back here. Doing a good job of keeping the macro flowing. And at some point pretty soon, we're going to need to see a 3rd base out of Advil. So, we'll need a transition to that point. We'll need the units in place to do that. But if Moon pushes forward and doesn't give Terran the chance to do that, we could close this game out pretty quick. 5th base being taken. Alright, so instead of taking the aggressive option, we're just going to take the economical option and continue to expand. That will reinforce Protoss's lead. Okay, so here's our 3rd base for Terran. One of the issues that we have here, though, with this base is that it doesn't have any gas. And Terran is a very gas-starved race. I say that as I look at the resource counters and see that Advil has like 700 gas, so what do I know? Hello, little doggy. Let's keep our eyes on these mine connections here. Not terrific. We do get a couple connections on the Zealots, but not all that great. And these vultures are going to get caught out. So reducing Terran's army size a little more. Putting the paint on. Terran move out, spotted by this Dragoon and this Observer. Moon should react. We'll zoom out a little bit more to capture the full entirety of each player's army. This is a lot of Protoss. Now we have a nice siege tank count here for Terran. That's 11. I don't know if it's enough though, and without any reinforcements or support, this could be dangerous if there were more Protoss here. Moon's going to play it safe, back out, and I think that's the right play with just goons here. There we go. Bring the rest of the army in. Very, very zealot heavy. Which is great, given that Terran's army is mostly siege tank. There actually are not a lot of vultures. And the reason there's not a lot of vultures is because Advil's been spending so much time this game with his vultures out on the map. Eventually they sort of get caught and taken out, so losing the vultures while out on the map and doing Terran-y things and laying mines and whatever, that doesn't allow you to build up a vulture count that lets you support your siege tanks, so there's pros and cons to that style of play. And right now, well, we're seeing one of the cons of it. With just a straight-up siege tank army, we will not be able to beat Protoss. Not like this. +2 ground weapons, +1 armor, +1 shields for Protoss, bunch of upgrades kicking in, beefing up and making this Protoss army a whole lot more robust. Securing this lower left, the other main, putting up the infrastructure, and with this infrastructure finalizing and being secured, once it gets going, that's just going to further cement the lead that Moon is in right now. Cannoning up the front to fight off potential run-bys, taking the natural as well. And Protoss in an extremely powerful position, commanding lead, maxed out. The ball is in Moon's court. Oh, I got this observer here. I see you're trying to take this 3 o'clock base. Well, I got this arbiter here that says no. So gonna get this recall off. Siege tanks are here though. And will they get the denial? It looks like just barely they will. And I think that was a cancel. It's hard to tell. It was very close. But Protoss prevents Terran from taking yet another base. Advil kind of sees the writing on the wall. GG's out. Moonrai takes it. Not too bad at all. Pretty wide margin between scores. So Moonrai will take the third series 2-0. That pushes us into the fourth series for today's cast. It's going to be between Pandor and Supperman from the iRk clan. Now that's what I'm looking forward to. And in fact, I think anybody on the practice group Discord is probably really looking forward to this one, as these are two really active members on that Discord. Let's go. I want to see this already. Alright, we're back on Polypoid. And starting us off, the fourth series, the first game between Pandor and Supperman, spawning in the lower left corner as the lime Terran. That's not yellow, that's lime. It's Pandor. And spawning in the upper left corner with a probe already moving out on the map is the purple Protoss. It is iRk clan's Supperman. Alright, game number one, and we have some spiciness. So, proxy gate in the center. Wait and see the next move here. Will it be one gateway? Will it be two? Gateway on 8. And a scout. Lucky you, you're going to find Terran on the first try. Alright, the probe comes in, gets the gas steal off. Oh, what a treasure. So now we have a proxy gateway and a stolen gas. And the stolen gas can only really be achieved on first scout, so Supperman, quite a lucky man. Our first zealot's about halfway done. No doubt rallied to the Terran's base. Supperman doing a pretty good job trying to delay this barracks as best he can, but not going to be able to do so. The position of this supply depot right here is very important. This is a very good position to have your depot in. This creates a wall this wide against Zealots. Zealots will have to come down this way, but Marines can fit through these gaps, no problem. And that's going to come into play immediately as the first Zealot for Supperman comes up the ramp. Pandor sees it and realizes what's going on. Pulls a couple of the boys. Alright, good micro. Controlling those Marines, pulling that back. Zealot starting to take hull damage. The second one on the minimap about to come up that ramp. Zealot comes around and you can see the micro holes in use that I was talking about. It's so important. It really makes a huge difference. Alright, Supperman gonna focus on the SCVs a little bit. Takes out 2 of them. That's pretty good. Loses the probe. The probe helps the Zealot out a lot. Here comes another Zealot. Ooh, good micro. Gets the pick off that one Marine. 3 Marines left. Here we go. Here Pandor has to be very careful with these low health Marines, as this Zealot has most of everything. Shields a little bit damaged, full health. Another Zealot coming in. Oh, they bunch up a little bit, and Supperman grabs 2 Marine kills, a very pivotal moment in this game. Okay, that one Zealot gets cleaned up, but there's another one right at the door. Pandor with just 1 Marine left, another one pops out. And with the steady worker production, Supperman takes a lead of 3 workers. So looking under the hood from this harassment, finally we have Terrantic and the Natural getting that factory up. If the factory can get up and we can get vultures out, then the Zealot harass will become muted. But until then, this has been quite effective. And from here we should stabilize. "17 workers to 22, 18, 22, so that gap has widened a little bit. Goon range, now the tech of choice on the way. 2 goons in production. And Pandor finally now going to get a chance to go out and scout. Bunker finishes just in time to push this goon back. Okay, a posture here for a natural expansion and a building mineral count, so Supper will be taking the Nexus here. Range, 3/4 stun. The pressure will continue once range completes. These Dragoons will be able to fire on the bunker without receiving any counterattack. Nice position to hide the SCV for a secondary scout. In it goes. And Pandor's at the ready. Already knows it's about to happen. Supperman moves in with the Dragoons. Have to position carefully. And now the harassment begins until Pandor finds an answer for this ranged Dragoon menace. Looks like the response will be siege mode. Oh my goodness, there's just too many Dragoons here. Gonna walk forward a little bit, picks off 1 SCV. So Supperman getting a little aggressive. Robotics facility now on the way. Natural expansion pops. Probe transfer. Now siege mode is done and the first siege tank is out. So, going to siege up on the high ground here. Supperman pushes the goons a little far forward. One that was weakened does get targeted by the bunker and goes down. These 2 workers here are going to find each other. Oh, that was a low health SCV. Probe gets the pick off. Well done by Supperman. Forming the anti-vulture wall here with the observatory. And everything looking pretty normal and good afterwards with this transition. Supperman looking like in a pretty good position, I'd say. Grabbing this 3rd here at the 12 o'clock. Pandor just trying to stabilize. Has turrets up, getting that starport tech. 2 factories working on vulture research. And we'll just kind of cycle through and keep tabs on everything as the game continues to develop. Brief periods like this where the game slows down and both players stabilize it out. You see Citadel coming online here for Protoss. Alright, vultures out on the map. This is good for Terran. Let's find out what information Pandora can gain here. Oh, pick off a couple of probes, that's always excellent. Gonna find the third. Goons being pulled back to deal with this harassment. Losing just one more vulture, and Pandora will be able to get these vultures home. Very nice. So a couple of probe picks, I'd say that was really good. More gateways going down. A safety cannon, Stargate, Templar. Very normal Arbiter play. Great, so from here, Supperman gets eyes on the timing of Terran's third, and from there can strategize a little bit. Also, if we move up slightly, we'll get a full view of the factory count, and that's really valuable information for Protoss as well. +1 on the way for mech. Cool, I missed that. A vulture drop in the main. Looks like we got a nice healthy number of probes killed there. And of course we also scout the tech as well, so Pandora should know that it's incoming Arbiter. There is still a gap though in the macroeconomic production. Still 61 probes to 53 SCVs. Supperman gonna take this mineral-only fourth here. Move out towards the center of the map. Nice defensive spread here. And Pandora will try to secure this mineral-only third. So a bit more economic focus this game from these two players. Definitely a large build-up phase here. Here's our first Arbiter, working. Stasis also working. Additional gateways, very good. Weapons. Itchy dog in the background. Got some scans going down for Pandora. Let's find out where they're at. Right here in the main, sees the Arbiter in production. Third, gets confirmation on this and its saturation. Finding another base here with this Vulture, very nice. Supper Army going to find a couple of Vultures here. Another Vulture speed buy harassment attempt. Nice. Picking off a Zealot. That's good. Can't get in here. Can't really get in up there. Gotta back out. It seems like Supperman just has army everywhere. Interesting. Air attack being researched for Protoss. Okay, and here we see Protoss balling up. The bottom of the map just outside of Terran's mineral, only third. And here comes the engage. And you know, it's a little unfortunate. Pandor's just not quite in the right position right here. And Supperman just takes his army and just slams it right into Terran. I think that's going to be game. Here's the wide view. We just don't have tanks. We just don't have them. More Protoss troops continuing to reinforce in. Slowly trickling in. Oof. Oh no. Little sloppy there, losing an Arbiter. But of no matter. Punctured Terran's natural. Entered up the ramp. Yeah, and we just don't have the tanks to stop this. We don't have... Whoa, what am I doing? Yeah, GG from Pandor. Very nice game out of Supperman. Alright, so we'll be putting a point on the board here for Supperman. And we'll be moving into game number 2 on Neo-Sylphid. Come and join me as I take you on a TVP adventure. Here we are. Spawning in the top center, 12 o'clock position, as the light yellow Terran. It is Pandor. And in the bottom left, once again is purple Protoss, it's iRk clan's Supperman. Now, this is a good map for center gates. But I don't think we'll see it 2 games in a row. No, not at tier 0. Well, you know, I don't really like this color on Terran that much. I think I found one. Alright, positioning up here for a wall. Gonna wall this off. In-base pylon. Alright, no center gates. Gateway in main. And a gas to follow it up. So core opening. Gas here for Terran as well, very standard. Yeah, it looks like we'll open up into a much more normal looking game. Alright, Scout going out for Terran. Here's our core for Protoss. Scout moving out. Purple's a good choice for Protoss. It looks very royal. Alright, Protoss getting first scout here. Gonna nab that factory timing. And Scout's just one SCV in the gas. That's important. That's going to tell Supperman that this is probably going to be an early expansion after this factory. Oh, very interesting. So we have a fake out. This is designed to look like range. So Pandora comes in here, sees the core spinning, thinks, okay, that's probably range. There's nothing down here. And there's two pylons here. So, we cancel the +1, right? That was designed to be a fake out. And Supper uses the cover to take a really early natural expansion. Very cool. So in comes this vulture from Pandora. And we'll see if this vulture can get eyes on this nexus. Yes, it does. Alright, so trying to pull the wool over Pandora's eyes, not gonna work. Comes in with this vulture, scouts it perfectly. But perhaps the nexus was just a cover. A double wool pull. Here we have the Templar Archives coming up, proxy gateway. This nexus uncontested. We'll be able to finish. Two vultures moving out on the map. Starport tech. Oh, that's pretty early. So, with mines, lots of vultures in production in the starport, I think it's safe to say that we'll see a drop. The Templar Archives finishing up here. Immediate Dark Templar in production. Yep, gonna add that tower and produce a dropship out of this. Getting vulture speed. Laying down some defensive mines in case it's shuttle play. Yeah, just overall great mine coverage coming out of Pandora. This Dark Templar is going to come in. We'll hit one mine. Tank trying to lure it into the mine down here. Not going to work. Supperman's going to begin work on the SCV line. Oh, did I miss the drop? No. Okay, good. Still making. And the Dark Templar gets cleaned up. Another one comes in to replace it. And we start work on the natural mineral line. Getting quite a few picks here, 3 so far. Gonna park it up here where it can't be detected. Oh, actually, I guess it could be. Shoot, I thought that was out of range too. But Supperman should have gotten eyes on this dropship now and should know to prepare for it. More DTs out. Yeah, I don't think that got caught. So this drop has the potential to do quite a bit of damage. Here we go. 2 here and 2 in the main. You know it, baby. Good number of kills. 1 here, 2 here. And a good number of kills here as well. 4, 5, 7, 8. A pro butchering. So, a very successful drop, I would say. Arbiter in production here. Supperman going to secure the bottom right main. And this will grant a lot of extra space for additional infrastructure too. Important in the PvT matchup. And this dropship will find all the proxy stuff that happened minutes earlier. It's now the MVP unit, MVU, now scouting the third base, the third gas base taken for Supperman here. MVU right there. A couple of tanks fielded. And we're moving out. Looks like Pandora is intending to clean up this proxy mess as soon as possible. Adding on some more factories. And yeah, there's no response to this, so all of this should get cleaned up, which unfortunately results in Supperman leaving behind the Templar tech. And we already have the Arbiter tech established, so that's not threatened, but should High Templars or Dark Templars have to come back into the game, Supper's going to have to remake those tech structures. First Arbiter at the ready. We're going to move out on the map with an observer, maybe clear some mines. Wow, no way. Did we really manage to get a DT out of here before they picked off the pylon? Did I miss that? That's nuts. Alright, very cool. And yeah, this will effectively stop mining here until it gets answered. Alright, we have stasis being researched, about halfway done. Pandora setting up a defensive line to take a defensive position here to block out, protect this mineral-only third. Siege mode just now being researched. Okay. Yeah, I guess this would be delayed if you open up Starport first. That makes sense. +1 for mech on the way. Science vessel about to pop out. And the third base finishes. Pandora can now begin mining from this third base at the mineral only. Still cleaning up this Garbo proxy. Cleaning this trash up. You know, the longer this goes unanswered, the closer this gets to just being wiped out, and I don't think we want to lose one Nexus to one Vulture. Mosh pit! I'm glad I caught that. That's valuable footage. CPL will appreciate that forever. Okay, second armory coming down for Terran. Adding on another factory. Good on supply. +1 finished. Oh, I missed the recall. I'm such trash at observing. Alright, so Supperman recalls in the main with quite a sizable force. And these are slow zealots. I almost said slow speed zealots, can you imagine? But yeah, slow zealots, so not super duper effective. Pandor brings back, I think, enough Terran forces to clean this up. And this recall doesn't really accomplish much. A couple scans and a tank. 2 tanks. Alright, that was pretty clutch at the end there, actually. Supper securing this pseudo high ground. And trying to take the mineral only as well. Oh, Escalade. I love you. You're the best. Platonically, of course. No homo. Okay. This might be another moment that we have to capture and cherish forever. The moment when one Pandor Vulture beats one Supperman Nexus. Gosh, I really can't believe that's going unanswered for this long. So I gotta keep my eye on that now because like it's actually that low. Okay, folks, I feel like it's kind of like New Year's and we're counting down and watching the ball drop because this is about to happen. There's stuff happening in the middle of the map. I don't even care because this is actually literally happening. One Pandor Vulture greater than one Supperman Nexus. I did the math. I saw it. Here it is. It happened. Whew. Another moment for CPL to treasure forever. Alright, another recall into the main base for Supperman, recalling a lot of zealots here. A lot of slow zealots, and didn't really move, not too much initiative with them. And they get cleaned up pretty easily by this vast array of vultures. Slow bros. Alright, we do have zealot speed on the way though. It's coming. It's coming. Alright, and now we're just massing up, moving around, finding angles. I was trying to find what was shooting. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, these goons are boxed in. We gotta take this out. Okay. Terran gonna find a little bit of Protoss's army just hiding out on the map. Totally invisible with the Arbiter. Gets in with a couple of Vultures, and if I could give like one accolade to one of these players for any reason, for spectacular play, it would have to be Pandor for his immaculate Vulture control and consistency being on the map with the Vultures. It's just fantastic to watch. A very, very active Vulture man. Now, that being said, that's really not to detract from Supperman's play at all. Supperman is a monster. And here we see a ruthless engage going down, a pretty good stasis right off the bat. This is quite a fortified Terran position though, and I think Supperman sees that and has decided to back out. I think this is the correct play. I don't think you want to fully engage this Terran when they're all sieged up, fortified. So very good, very smart. Especially when we can just hang back and let another gas base come online and operational. Alright, Terran, nearing maxed out, starting to gain some confidence, moving out onto the map. 2-1 researched, and all done. Scan finds Supperman's army. Fantastic EMP. Gets almost all of the units that are in this ball. Terran's free to engage and wipe out as many of these Protoss units as possible, forcing the retreat. And that lets Terran siege in a position just outside of this base here. So we have the bottom portion of this entire path mined off. And as of this moment, pretty much looks like unless Supperman can make a great engagement happen right here, this game is really more in Pandor's hands. Gets the stasis off on the vessel, that's going to stop detection. There's another one here, of course. And Pandor doing a really good job moving the army around to meet Protoss. You see this wonderful play here. This is how you can win late game TVP. You gain the advantage, and then you chase Protoss's army around, and you try to force them to engage you. And since we're maxed, Terran really doesn't have many other options but to move out and just continue reinforcing. Lots of gas tech here for Supperman moving in. 3 Arbiters, a handful of Dark Templars. Gonna shut this base off. Vulture's ready to respond. And the siege from Pandor continues, wiping out a bunch of these probes, going to take out this gas base as well. As we see, Pandor draws a line from the center of the map all the way up, retakes this base, and is in a fantastic position. And unfortunately, just as this siege is answered by Supperman, the Nexus gets taken out. Just a little too late. This base is finally operational once again, but it might be a little too late. Terran's ready to fight. Terran has 3-2. Terran has lots of vessels with EMP. 2 Arbiters just got EMP'd. I think we're seeing the end stages here. And I think we'll see a GG out of Supperman pretty soon, as there's no real way to answer this Terran army. This giant Terran ball. 3-2 mech. Finds the rest of the army here. I don't know, I would fight this. That's not a lot of Protoss. Gets more EMPs off. Beautiful. Every single Arbiter has been EMP'd. Terran continuing the siege. Yeah, Supperman gonna try to get as much damage done as possible with the current situation and the available units, but it just looks like Pandor has an answer to everything right now. Great mine connections here, it's gonna thwart this attack. Yeah, GG from Supperman. So a very, very nice game number 2 on Neo-Sylphid. So, that's a point for Pandor. That ties up this series 1-1. which means we get to see game number 3 on butter. Very cool. I'm pleased with the amount of butter that we're seeing throughout the entire semifinals. Alright, game number 3, the one to break the tie. Here we are, top right, spawning, once again, is the purple Protoss. It's iRk-Supperman. Oh, and I think again is the light yellow Terran. It's Pandor, in the bottom right. Cool, alright. So, it's a 2-player map. I think the rush distance is pretty standard, I think. Maybe a little longer than normal. I haven't seen, like, any games where people just, like, rush each other on this map. See the probe going out. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't see, like, any... I haven't seen a single BBS. I haven't seen a single proxy gate. Maybe it's just me. Shoot, I mean, I don't even think I've seen a 9-pool. Alright, so this scout for Supperman is early. So that should telegraph to us that this is going to be a gas steal. It's very careful. Comes up and over. Comes out of the fog and... Oh! Okay, we're not gonna... Alright. 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 There it is. Yeah, here we have Return in the chat. Putting in some input on the situation. I'd go as far as saying it's long rush distance. Yeah, maybe you're right. I really don't know a lot about butter. Could be pretty long. Well, I mean, think about it. Here's your main. You gotta go over, then all the way down, and then over again. So yeah, that's pretty long. Ah, cheeky, stealing a little bit of gas there too. So Pandor's response to this is going to be a secondary barracks. Okay, we'll see if that develops into like some sort of stim timing, or if it's going to be... You know, I'm really not sure how this plays out 100%. I know you can do it. Leave it to the tier 0s to teach us something new, though, for sure. Oh, so close. Oh, actually gonna get that probe. Probe stutters a little bit and grants that Marine a chance to take it out. Very nice. Zealot putting some damage on that SCV. Where are you going? Gonna come home? Oh, alright. So Pandor comes in, sees the gateway, that's fine. You know, maybe you'd expect to see like a cyber core, but a forge? Ooh, alright. A very different game 3 coming out of these two players. Is that 4 probes on gas? I think that is. I think you can do this on purpose to tighten up the mining a little bit, but it's not like super efficient, so I think this is a thing. Yeah, Pandor's already here with a bunch of Marines, because, you know, 2 barracks production. So, yeah, if this Zealot goes down, Protoss is going to be in a lot of trouble. Now, these probes could probably help, and in fact, yeah, they're going to have to get pulled. Good Marine micro from Pandor here. Unfortunately, they're just too low. The probes come up and just snipe them, no problem. 2 more Marines come in, though. But with a full health Zealot here, it's tricky. Yeah, Supperman should hold. This cannon's gonna go online. Zealot here for defense. Yeah, Pandor gonna send the boys home. Or maybe just regroup? No, okay. And then going to transition and taking the natural. Yeah, I think that's the right move. As well as the gas. Right, so the forge was a response to the second barracks. I see now. That makes a lot of sense. And then the cyber core to resume normality. Six Marines. Goodness, that's quite a lot. Yeah, still full production out of these. So Pandora not ready to give it up yet. Yeah, in fact, going for the Academy. So this kind of play versus Protoss is super duper strong up until Reaver or Storm comes out, and then it just falls off the face of the earth. But like Stim, early game, it's actually pretty good. Goon range coming. Goon in production. SCV transfer, robotics coming up. And now we move into a much more normal looking game. Pace slows down a little bit. And we essentially just kind of watch the players build up. Two medics done. Great, picking off that zealot is a big deal. Every Protoss unit at this point counts. A shield battery, alright. Once this comes online, Supperman will be fine, I think. More units should be coming out of these gateways, yeah. And with the cannon here as well. Good micro to pick off a front-running Marine, very good. Oh, gonna get caught out here and lose a goon though. That's no bueno. Oh, I'm bringing some of the boys too. Actually, this might be not enough cannons. Yeah, these cannons I think are a little late. It's a tough call. Lots of workers joining the fight, mixing it up. We're out of energy on the shield battery, but all the Marines are dead. He gets a surround on the cannon, knocks that out. But this cannon comes up and this attack should be nullified. Good snipe on that last medic. More gateways going down. Observers coming out. And at 33 probes to 29 SCVs, I'd say Supperman should be feeling pretty cozy. Okay, some additional factories coming online, so we make this mech transition now. Little scouter SCV moving out, probably trying to find hidden bases. Or just any bases, really. Oops, Supperman gonna try to run in with the goons. Are you serious? The SCV block is real. Pandora, a real GOSU, showing true talent right here in skill micromanagement. Bam! Blocks those goons from getting in. No, you don't. And this reverts into a further back harassment using range until it gets answered by most likely a siege tank. More goons rallying in. The observer to stop any potential mines. Third base being taken behind. And getting scouted. Yeah, we're just going heavy on the goon production right now. Ooh, a little bit of miss micro there. Ah, a tank dive. I see what that was. Okay. Well, unfortunately not getting the tank. Scans going down. Pandora finding anti-drop cannon. Stargate. Alright. So we have our Stargate timing, which hopefully was caught. One barracks being floated and used to scout. It's a good idea. You don't need that structure anymore. Might as well make it useful somehow. Another factory, eBay. Okay. Gonna wall this off against vultures, very good. But vultures are out, and they're gonna come around. Speed kicks in. And there's already probes here. This is not looking good. Okay, so we find the wall. Just go around, maybe? Well, these goons are moving to intercept. Okay, yeah, we are going to go around. He's probably waiting for mines. No, it's not close to done. Okay, gonna move in, gonna pick off some probes here. Let's see how much damage we get done. Supperman's economy taking a sizable hit here. Using, I think, what was 5 probes? Here's 2, here's 6. My goodness, alright, I can't count. 8 probes, apparently. Unless they had kills on them beforehand, which I'm not really sure. And once again, Pandor doing Pandor things with vultures. That's just beautiful. Beautiful. Ooh, even gets into the main too. Alright, so now we're gonna get some scouting done. Not too much additional damage done, but a full scout, which is very nice. Okay, looks like Supperman moving to coalesce his armies together into one giant mashed up ball that's going to be... what shall I call it? I'll call it the Thunder Fist army. Just punch a hole right into Pandor. That sounds cool. More probe harassment. The vultures are so real. They're so real that they're fake. Alright, good number of probe kills there. So further pushing back the economy of Supperman. 42 probes to 57 SCVs. So Pandor putting in some pretty good work here. Well, that's cool. Started building the supply depot and then stopped to start the CC. Use this to block the ramp. Very smart. Okay, good tank spread, and this will help to cover both the third and the natural. But Supperman's here. Here's the army. Upgrades, we're just looking at +1 attack. And for Terran, yeah, ditto, +1 attack. Looks like Supperman's going to test the waters here a little bit, send some units in. Get an idea of the tank count. Decides it's not really going to work out. Pulls back a bit. More vultures going to do vulture things. I really am impressed. Supperman's prepared this time. Put cannons in place. Should drive this back. Yeah. Unless they just want to commit. No, this is not the play. There we go. Fourth beast being taken here. The gas base. Okay, additional factories just now finishing up. Now we have 7 in total. That's going to be some scary macro. Arbiters being fielded. Almost has enough energy for a stasis. Haven't really been watching for the stasis research though, so, well, at about 15 minutes into the game, I'm just going to assume he has it. Recall being researched. Pandora with a great tank spread right here. This is pretty stormable though. Not that there's storm available just yet. Scan's going down, finds Protoss's army. We're gonna bleed off some units here. Okay, here we are, getting that second Stargate. Vulture's getting caught out on the map a little bit. He gets the pick on the probe before it puts the Nexus down. Very annoying. Okay, Supper doing a good job controlling the center of the map here. More probe harassment with vultures. Yeah, pretty good damage done. Alright, these vultures are going to try to get mines laid down here on the left side of the map. We'll be able to get a couple down. It looks like Supperman wants to move down in this direction, though. Ooh, some good connections there. EMP goes off. Don't think it got any of the Arbiters. All this Terran's going to get cleaned up here, pushed into a corner. So that's a lot of supply being bled off for Pandora. Oh, and can these mines make any connections at all? Alright, some weak connections, just a couple of these stray units. Nothing serious. And Supperman just trying to look for an angle in which to get in, engage. Reinforcing a little bit. Pandora really trying to take this next base, this fourth base. It's very important to remain in the game. And with the strong siege line here, I don't think this ramp is approachable. I don't think you can come down this ramp as Protoss and be able to get anything to work. So, we have 3 Arbiters, a pretty good spread too. What looked like a recall attempt that I just missed. Didn't go off. I think it was probably here, but there's so many turrets. +2 weapons on Protoss ground. 2-1 on Terran mech. And now we're at the phase of the game where both players are maxed, and it comes down to position and engagement. This game could very, very quickly go either way depending on how a particular engage goes, and as a matter of fact, we have Terran approaching Protoss here on the low ground. Fantastic stasis, grabs a lot of units. Okay, Supperman not ready to take the engagement yet, backs off. And Pandora gives chase. And now this is a much more fitting engagement for Protoss, having caught most of Terran unsieged. With this back line of siege tanks though, we'll have to back off. So a good pick. Some skirmishing happening there. 167 supply for Protoss to 178 for Terran. 64 SCVs to 54 probes. The 54 count not being too bad given how much damage has been done consistently throughout the entire game from vultures. All the vulture harassment. This gas base is operational. This gas base is operational. And here we are at the center again, trying to make fights happen. Pandor sieging up. Decent EMP goes down, hits one of the arbiters. As of now, we don't even have energy for one stasis. Here it is. We have 1 out of 4 possible arbiters can cast a spell. In a bit of a weak position here. We probably don't want to take this fight. Of course, though, while you're in-game, it's very difficult to keep track of what has what and what's available. So Pandor successfully sieging, grabs the center of the map, now has map control. Moving to control the left side of the map as he moves up. We'll take this base out, or at least contest it. Okay. Protoss moving down, introducing carriers into the mixture. Air weapons has been researched, the first level. That's a heroic zealot, if I've ever seen one. To take on the world. Protoss gonna start pushing back. Alright, we have 3 arbiters. What looks like 4 carriers. Very nice. The carriers are really going to impact this battle so much more because there's only 4 Goliaths. That's just not enough to answer this. So the carriers are gonna have free reign over Terran's army without much of an answer to it. Pandor trying to make something happen with the remainder of his army. Trying to fall back a little bit. These tanks are pretty much done, so we're going to bleed off some tanks, lower that tank count. And it looks like Supperman's going to be able to grab a lot more control. Seizing back a lot of control for this game. This 9 o'clock base now online. This base was not actually taken out, so we can start mining from these 2 bases. Protoss going to push down the center of the map, taking control of the center. That's very, very advantageous positionally. And yeah, now splitting the forces, taking the carriers to the right and the ground forces to the left. EMP goes down, removes the shielding on all of these carriers, and they're not really being watched. Pandor's starting to take out the carriers. 2 down so far. 3. If you can grab this last one, 4. Very impressive. So very, very cost-effective Goliaths. Meanwhile, very nice stasis here in the middle. These troops ready to tackle this as soon as it comes out. Reinforcements coming in. A spectacular game number 3 out of these 2 players. Carriers going to rejoin the fray. Interceptors out and at the ready. Alright, and this will cause Supperman to fall back. Gonna play it nice and safe. Doesn't want to push in too early and lose everything. We have firm control of the map. 2 more bases online. Don't really have to push it. We'll look for other options elsewhere. Macro machine continues. More carriers in production, more arbiters in production. 2 and 2. Got a Wraith on the field, that's pretty cool. This could be to help tank spot. Could be for additional range on the Goliaths, connect with the carriers, not really sure. Or it could have been a mistake. Either way, it's cool. So it looks like another committed attack here coming out of Supperman. We're going to be attacking the lower left base for Terran, which is relatively undefended. Pandor at the quickness, though, bringing the army in to intercept, and a fight will break out here. Now, the D-Matrix on the Goliaths is a really good move. But they're coming up and they're overextending a little bit, so a couple more Goliaths are going to get picked off here. Supperman trying to make the most of the situation with 3 carriers. Besides, it's probably too much anti-air to really mess with right now. We'll wait. 2 more Arbiters are going to reinforce. Once that mana builds up, they will become formidable. Oh, I missed Cloaked Wraiths. Of course, Cloaked Wraiths. Awesome. Alright, so 2 Arbiters and a Carrier. And returns home with about half of them. That was cool. I can't believe I missed that. There's so much going on, it's hard to follow everything. Not only that, but long casts like this that go on for 3+ hours can be pretty exhausting, actually. Alright, here we see Pandor starting to push up this ramp to try to take the middle of the map back. Terran mech upgrades, where are we at? 3-2. Oh boy. Protoss 3-0-0. Alright. So we're at the stage of the game where Terran's mech becomes really, really cost efficient. And terrifying. Pick on the vessel. 4 carriers. A little bit of ground forces left. Yeah, a lot more anti-air reinforcing into this army, so these carriers are going to be
I tell you what, I think I'll join up.
kind of reduced in usefulness. Do we another here? Oh, that's going to get picked off. A little sloppy. Terran taking control of the left side of the map will be able to shut down this base for sure. Probably knows about this base. Here come the carriers to try to stop this, but I think that's way too many Goliaths. The probes are all going to get picked off. Supper's not even going to try to engage that. Yeah, that would be pretty suicidal. Maybe with the rest of the army, though. Got some scans going down. It scans the 9 o'clock. Like, yeah, that makes much more sense now. These Wraiths are going to come back for more action, going to find these carriers. And the remainder of the carriers get picked off. These 2 are fresh. They still have to make their interceptors. Look, there's just like 4 interceptors out, and look at all this anti-air. And with these carriers falling, yeah, that's going to be a good game from Supperman. A fantastic game number 3 played by Pandor. I am impressed. So that means Pandor takes series number 4, 2-1. And that brings us into our last series for today's cast. the last series for the semifinals, before we start breaking open the can of the finals. Man, can't wait to cast the finals. So, let's get into the last series here. Find game number 1. And as you can see from today's matchup, the last series will be between Terran player So and Protoss player Baal from the Ash clan. Here we go. Let's start it up. Okay, game number 1. That brings us back to Polypoid. Spawning in the lower right corner is the teal Protoss. It's Baal from the Ash clan. And spawning in the upper left corner, cross spawn, as the yellow Terran, it's So. So, another frequent member on the practice group Discord. Usually looking for games. Baal. Probably busy with Brood War Clan League stuff, to be honest. I don't know. Kind of wanting to see more Zerg play again. I don't have a favorite for this matchup, though. I really don't know enough about either of these players. Yeah, see, I haven't really seen Baal play Protoss that much, so I don't really know. Teal's an okay color on Protoss, I guess. I think it's a little ugly. Yellow's fantastic on Terran. Probably one of the better colors. Probably top 3. Prove me wrong. Gate gas for Protoss, so Baal looks like he probably wants to open up with Cybercore. Escalate, don't you call me out! Vaping. No, you don't know. You don't know. Alright, I was vaping. You heard nothing. You heard nothing. Alright, so we do get confirmation. It's core opening for Baal, so we'll probably see some Dragoon play. Really nice SimCity from So here. I really like this positional setup. Lots of marine holes. Yeah, push that probe out of here. Goodness, everyone's so encouraging. Thanks, chat. Alright, here we have a normal factory timing. 1 worker in the gas, so telegraphing a factory expansion. Very solid, safe, stock standard in my opinion. Terran versus Protoss opening, especially on this map. Definitely the go-to. We have range on the way for Baal, as well as 2 goons queued up. First one popping. First vulture on the way for So. And CC. First goon just gonna go right across. Nexus started. Good attempt at blocking. Unfortunately, gets right in. Not gonna see anything too important though. Just lets you see the Nexus and the spinning core. That's about it. You're good. Now So knows what he can do and what he can get away with. Gets his bunker here, 2 Marines for protection, barracks for blockage. Yeah, this is very safe. Mines first, tank first, super standard, very normal looking. Alright, and with ranged finished, the harassment can begin. I'm gonna keep vaping until this goon gets answered. Yeah, that's good enough for me. Ooh, actually gets the kill too. Very nice. Here we go, little probe transfer. Another gateway, robotics. Probably see an observatory after this. 2 gateway observer, super standard and safe opening. There it is. You can only vape when a building is burning. Alright. I can work with that. Vape the smoke. But which smoke? The red fire or the blue fire? Anti-shuttle missile turrets going up for So. Beautifully placed, I must say. Both. You got it. Oh, get that pick on that vulture. Very nice. 3rd gateway coming down. Observer out. And we should just aim with this observer to move right across, right about here-ish. Try to peek. Clear the mines. Okay, a 3-tank push out, some Marines and some SCVs. I think might be looking for Dragoons. Siege mode started, on the way. Armory done. Probe, or not probe, observer. I'm getting eyes on the tank count. Sees a couple of mines here, knows where these are placed. Gonna block up and close off this gap so vultures cannot run by, run in, get damage done. Very good. Yes, escalate. I am vaping THC. You're on the practice group Discord. You know what my title is. Alright, so we have quite a sizable number of goons here. 10. Bale's gonna push in with these, and without siege mode in place, I think these goons can just walk up here. Yeah. And so the goons have initiative here. Going to pick off these tanks, it looks like. Yeah, so it's going to be forced to cancel this. That's not going to have a chance of getting up. Bunker's empty. Going to take that down, push right past it. This looks like So's in trouble. A lot of trouble. Burn, baby, burn. That's not burning enough. Now it's burning enough. Oh, the missile turret's burning too. Oh, you guys are... I can't help myself. Where you go, babe? Oh, the army is on fire too? Oh, yeah. Let's stick 2 pens in my mouth then. You go, Bale. If you don't gotta stop, I don't gotta stop. Not getting this armory, though. And a slow push forward with the siege tanks. That's gonna push Protoss out. You should have left a little earlier, so going to take some additional goon casualties that were unnecessary. So is going to stabilize, sending the SCVs back to mine at the natural. I hit that last one a little too hard. Where are we at? Got some goons left over. Gonna take not one, but 2 bases. Alright, Baal. Super greed mode engaged. Take the gas. And I think, you know, with the amount of damage that you got done here, why not be that greedy? It's not like So's gonna move out. It's not like there's really gonna be much of an answer as long as you're still continuing to macro out of your gateways, which we see was the case. The fresh round of goons moving out here. I'd be surprised if we saw another aggressive push with siege mode out though, but really should just try to hang back, get these operational, mining, get some additional tech. Really, from this point as Baal, you can relax quite a bit. Maybe form a little concave out here, over here. We could try to stop Terran from taking the third, but really, with the observer here, and we know that the tanks are here, it's probably not cost effective. Lots of goons being produced. Baal, aka Goon Man. +1/+1 being upgraded for mech. Oh, +2/+1. Yeah, the rock and roll upgrades. Those are the ones that we want. 3 factories we're producing. We already have science facility, academy coming up for scans. Alright, so doing a pretty good job of stabilizing here. We're only at 53 SCVs to 59 probes, so not actually very far behind at all. Got this 3 o'clock base here, nicely walled off too. No vultures gonna get in. This doodad here actually blocks, so this is good. And that's not a gap that mech units can fit through. Alright, well, we've got the 2 Stargates. We have Citadel. A couple of defensive cannons. Some decent mine laying. Gonna grant a good amount of vision here. Oh no. I didn't realize that gap was open. That's crazy. Oh, Brood War, you are so unfair. Couple of probe kills. We're gonna tuck this 5 HP vulture behind here. Even kills 2 vultures. The mind hits. Fantastic. Super value vulture. And let's just take a moment here to zoom way out and appreciate this beautiful concave of Protoss that Baal has on So. This is really nice. It's excellent coverage. So gonna move out. These vultures probably get these guys out on the map. Lay some mines. This fortress will not be broken anytime soon. And we got some good vulture action here on the map. Gonna get some scouting information here. We keep going. Find this upper right base. And Baal decides to cancel it, actually, without the element of surprise, not confident that they could keep it. carrier, the tech of choice for Baal. 3 Stargates operational, pumping out carriers. Now, I'm actually not sure if So knows about that, but I will keep my ear out or open for scans, because scans are going to be really important to find that tech. But also, I guess we can ascertain whether or not So knows by the number of Goliaths being pumped. And yeah, I'd say he knows. And yeah, we got some scans going out. Gonna check the outside. This is a good engagement for Terran. Okay. And very smart to siege up just a small handful of tanks. That keeps the rest of the army mobile, as this is a push. We want to keep the push moving. Okay. Zealot bombing is really truly effective when tanks are already sieged. When everything's unsieged and on the move, it doesn't really accomplish too much. Because Zealots are bombs for the reason that the tank siege, the splash, hits other tanks. That's the bombing part. Okay, so Baal kind of on the back foot right now. And this is exactly what you want to do as Terran, is push Protoss on their back foot when they're in the phase of transitioning to carriers. That ground army is a little weaker. So there's a timing window where Terran can push out and try to stop Protoss, or just kill them outright, before carriers really become effective. As you can see here, we have 3 carriers at the ready. This is an ineffective number of carriers versus Terran with this magnitude of Goliaths. We'll need probably at minimum 4. 4 with the interceptors already built. Okay, Terran push comes in, it meets the natural here. This will force the carriers into action. Okay, Baal trying to do the best jobs possible picking off these Goliaths. Lost 1 carrier so far. Let's take a look at those upgrades. Just +1 air weapons. Mech sitting on 2-1. Alright, let's take a quick stock of where we're at. 4 carriers. We have more being produced, and they're almost done. Oh, these 2 tanks here are unfortunately going to get picked off, so bleeding that tank count even further. Now, with the carrier count the size that it's at, 5 plus another 2 very shortly at 7. I don't know if So has enough to contend with the carrier count. Well, if these Goliaths all join up with this ball here, surely that's probably big enough. But then we have the rest of the ground army. And that'll match up to the tanks. There's a good number of tanks here still. So doing a pretty good job of macroing behind everything going on this game. Seven carriers moving into position. So's army moving to intercept. A great place to siege, as all of Protoss's ground army now must come from here. So Baal's plan to attack what looked like the 12 o'clock, completely thwarted by brilliant positioning from So, sieging up these tanks here, completely cutting off the ground army, and then making a line of Goliaths up here to cut off the carriers. Very well executed. Yeah, and now with the Goliath size the way that it is, and some of these carriers still building interceptors, I don't think Protoss has what it takes to stay alive now. Losing another carrier there. And slowly bleeding off carriers. Another base going down. Yeah, I think this might be a death push right here. 2-1 is very strong. I think there's a break point for +2 mech with interceptors, where it takes fewer hits to kill them. So I think that comes into play now, and that's very important. Yeah, all the interceptors are dying. So coming out one at a time, getting picked off nearly one at a time. And GG gets called. And So will take the game. Cool, now we move on to game number 2 on Neosulfid. Oh my goodness, bless you. Sneezy wife. Alright, let's fire up game number 2 here. Oh, the fancy Neosulfid. UMS version. So, spawning in the 12 o'clock, top center here. Once again is the Teal Protoss. It's Ash Clan's Baal. And spawning in the lower right is the Red Terran. It's So. Oops. My bad. Hello, doggo. Get scritches? Okay. Come get scritches. Okay, so. Early shenanigans. Some center gate play here from Baal. One gateway, but not just one gateway. Oh, no, no, no. One's not enough. Two. Two gateways. 9-9 gates coming out of Baal. Barracks gas, and this formation for Terran, the SimCity, will help quite a lot. Probe gonna come down and find Terran first. First gateway finishes. Zealot immediately on the way. Marine on the way here. Oh no, are you serious? Oh, nice. Very good. So gets the scout. So factory, supply, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bunker. And I'm actually really surprised that this is not blinking. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna need some Marines to fight this off. There's that bunker. Ooh, yeah. Alright. So, putting the pylon down in the main. Oh, don't lose the probe, though. Unfortunately loses the probe. I bet you he was thinking about a shield battery right here. Sends another probe out. Yeah, I would too. And at this point, I think Baal just waits, masses up from the two gates, and then tries to go for a push with a battery behind it. This is a very well-positioned depot. This is going to stop Zealots from using this avenue. Marines and Vulture. With the Vulture out, this is going to be... Oh, very nice pick right there with the Vulture. This is going to be pretty tough. Okay, so the Zealots are in. They're taking a lot of Marine fire. SCV comes here, finds Protoss. There are some cannons on the way. This one will finish in time to meet the Vulture that's coming. So cleans up the Zealots that were in the main. And if we just go up and around, yeah. So that'll force all the probes down here, which really, really cripples the mining. Yeah, and without any realistic answer to this Vulture, Baal throws out a GG well played. The story of how one Vulture wins a game. A quick game. A long game followed by a quick game, and that puts that series at an end, 2-0. And that's a full left-sided win. How about that? Alright, well, that's all the games that I have prepared for you, and that's going to wrap up the semifinals. So, now coverage from now on from casters should be starting with the finals. There might be a possibility that I may cast some of it tomorrow. I'm not sure about that. Keep your eyes peeled, though. For the rest of us at CPL, we'll be doing the casting. Super stoked to see the finals coming in action, and that's going to be it from me today. I'm going to use this time right now to sign off and pet my dog, who is booping me in the leg really hard. He needs pets. So I shall do that. The rest of you take care. Have a great day. I'm signing off. See ya.